We are now.
We're rolling.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, before we get started, I just want to say we have a special guest with us today. He's
special as in he rode the short bus to get here.
Yeah, I rode the short bus, and he's back from a vacation at Club Med. He stayed at the Bedrock Hilton, which was pretty cool. But
it was interesting.
But what was really interesting is his name is Nate, and he's an expert on checklists.
Yeah, he's a good checklist maker.
Yeah, so he's going to help us with our sound guy, and we're going to talk about the finer points of the importance of a checklist.
Checklisting.
There's no help.
Checklisting checklist.
Yeah, so
I listen while drinking cocktails.
Yeah. Well, anyway, welcome to the show, Nate. It's good to have you.
Yeah,
good
man.
Yeah,
good to have him here.
Yeah, it's funny because on this show you just never know which way it's going to go. So just have fun with it because we kind of run down different paths wherever it's. We kind of have a framework, but then when it starts to run, we just go with it. So
that's always been my policy.
There you go. A lot of times, we sit here and we look for the news on the internet and we try to find things that are kind of funny
because
or
all
relevant.
that shit's true.
Because it's all true, right? So. Usually
the internet's real, man.
Yeah, we come up with some pretty interesting shit. We found a couple that was pretty interesting. There's a video going around now of a guy in a subway,
right,
squatting over a garbage can, taking a shit, and there's people coming off the escalator, right? And nobody says anything except
they don't even look at him. If you look at the picture,
they're looking at their phones.
Yeah,
man.
Except the lady that's recording it on the phone, going, "That's fucking disgusting."
Right?
She's like bitching about this thing. But what I think is funny is when you look at the dude on the top of the can, he's got a big man bun on.
He does.
Guy's got
kind of Rastafarian,
very Rasta looking.
Yeah.
So I got to think that's got to be UK, right?
Indian is he looked more like from the Pakistan.
It wasn't New York. The point was it wasn't New York.
Oh, it was in the States.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it had to be in UK.
Oh yes, it's definitely in like the tube.
Probably in just an IT guy.
Which is just funny enough.
Just gotten off work and he was tired and he didn't want to take time to go into the can. I do that all the time.
Got tired of getting screamed at about cameras by a French guy.
Exactly.
I'm here because the toilet seat says don't stand on it.
When you gotta go.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
It's funny. Back in the days, I worked for a large oil company back in East Texas. You can figure it out. And they brought a bunch of guys over for this Yambu River project.
Right.
And so they were building a refinery over there, and they were training the dudes over here. So they built a big building, and it was called the Saudi Training Center, right? So they had this building, and the bathrooms were the most bizarre things I've ever seen in my life. They were basically a hole in the floor with a porcelain bowl in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, that is crazy. I mean, I've never seen anything like that before.
And they have a lot of bidets.
Yes, a lot of bidets.
It's just a hose that comes off the wall.
So I guess if you were to leave instructions for an American, you would just say what? Hover and let her go.
And push.
Yeah, push.
So what'll really blow your mind when you're running around over there is the porta potties. So they have porta potties that are also designed like that with two outlines of feet on either side of a very flat top surface. There's no toilet seat or any of that. You just climb up on there and squat down over this.
I'd have a hard time with that. I'd have to.
Very weird.
It was funny because I would tell guys, y'all need like a bullseye in there.
Yeah.
Well, I like the fact that they actually put footprints. That's the shit.
Oh yeah, there's
like how hard is that to fucking figure out?
Yeah, but imagine the guys like where I was at. So we were on Jalalabad Highway, and you would have somebody who's like taking a stroll from Heroin Alley, and he's coming by the base, and he'll freaking take a few paces off the road, fucking drop trowel right there outside our encampment
and just
walls.
blow one out.
Fucking, it's like no big deal.
Wow.
Nobody even fucking takes a look.
God, that is insane. I don't get that.
I'm so glad I live in America.
They have a little section of their yard.
Yeah,
The little section of their yard inside their compound will be their shitting area.
Yeah.
And everyone goes over there and shits, and you'll be run through their compound or whatever, and
step in their shit.
And you'll go, man.
Every village.
This area is clear.
Every village has a shit creek.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, boy, howdy, you
bad.
will get.
Certainly explains all the diseases, doesn't it? I mean, it kind of roll how it comes to this picture that we have painted. So.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. But we're not free of that in the United States. I mean, this is happening in California like crazy.
Yeah, since everybody's out of a job there now, like 1 in 5 people are considered homeless or destitute. You've got people living in tent cities. and nowhere to go. So you got all this huge homeless problem.
Yeah, but in San Francisco, being below the poverty line, it means you make like $2,500 a month.
It does, it does, but you can't have a house
because
it's
rent is like $4,000 a month.
Insane. So you've got these tent cities, and I'm surprised dysentery hadn't taken over because those people are stupid to begin with. You know they don't know how to clean themselves properly. So I'm waiting for the big dysentery outbreak of Oregon Trail that swung through San Francisco.
I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure it's already out there.
It's gotta be.
Oh, it already is. Yeah, I've been working on a project a couple months ago for some remediation out in Southern California, and that was one of the deals they were talking about is the effluent to the secondary waterways and stuff that's in that area that's all washing off these streets. Everybody thinks it all goes to the sewer, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's a lot of stuff is residual runoff. And, you know, to do it right.
Well, a lot of it would end up in the bay, I would think.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
It would. Yeah.
So that's why the shark perimeter line is getting further and further.
It's
out.
the brown. It's the brown line. You know. Yeah, it's that brown line. Well, California. I mean, so these idiots are asking us, the taxpayers, for money to clean this up.
They are.
And a lot of
insane.
I was watching a YouTube video the other day of a lady that had to close her business in Sacramento. Remember that?
Yeah, I saw that.
And so she had a boutique there for like what 13, 14
years and had to shut it down.
And people are shitting in her walkway. What they do is they go back for privacy in those little alcove walkways and just take a dump there.
Wow,
that's just amazing. I don't get California. I mean, those people have lost their mind.
Oh yeah, well Gavin Newsom was asking for several $1 billion to fix this problem.
It was a lot of money,
and I think, from what I understand, everybody else pretty much told him to go F himself.
Sure.
Go get your own. They should too. Yeah, I mean, allegedly you've got the biggest economy, the 7th largest economy in the world, one of the biggest economies in the United States. And yet you're turning around asking us for billions of dollars?
Well,
go pull it out of your people.
I mean, like whenever news comes out of there and then they're trying to explain the logic on news about what it is that they're trying to do, I'm like, it's logic that gets lost on the other.
That's
49.
how we got here in the first
place. On the other
place.
49, they're trying to do fucking what?
What exactly?
Well, I don't know. I mean, when you look at what goes on out there, it really doesn't surprise me because, I mean, shit, they're letting just anybody live there.
Right.
I mean, anybody. It doesn't matter where they're from. Just show up and, the taxpayers will split the bill.
As long as you got a tent, you're welcome to come stay.
The part that pisses me off is all those people are moving here.
Yeah.
That shit's getting on my nerves, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Austin.
Yeah.
Tell me they're not shitting in the streets in Austin because they are.
That population has actually exploded. Austin has been on a huge. It's one of the fastest growing cities in Texas right now. That and San Antonio.
Yeah.
And the population from California is pretty much landing.
Sure.
There.
Well, they're buying
a lot of technology.
Well,
jobs.
they're buying hill country.
Well,
yeah, tech jobs, and they're buying hill country.
Well, and like Todd
That's a travesty.
Todd said,
it is. It really is.
Technology in general is the express way to get from California to here.
That was my point. That's the gateway for these folks.
Absolutely.
They're coming out of Silicon Valley and landing there. And they're bringing their ideals with them, and pretty soon, Austin's going to be in the same boat.
Well, it'll be Purple State. That's what they've already said. That party has already said that was their target anyway.
Well, Colorado's your map. I mean, look at Colorado, and we've talked about that before.
Sure.
That's the map that they're running.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's funny. We're talking about congressional people. We read a funny story in Babylon Bee the other day. It says, so the members of U.S. Congress are going to be the first to wear barcodes on their forehead in order to make purchasing easier for the lobbyists and special interest groups, and it'll be available on a Google app, which is
awesome. That's perfect.
Well, because you have the barcode scanner apps on all the phones, so you can just freaking gloss it over the forehead.
Right.
You just move on to the next conference.
Well, technology is wonderful. I wonder if you can use facial recognition software and you just take a group photo and just sit at home and fucking pick the barcode you want to pay.
Exactly.
I mean, that would be a lot of fun, wouldn't it?
That would be funny if it picks out if it creates an algorithm that says, "Hey, congressional members who have these certain aspects built into their face, they
drop down menu.
They're the ones that I can afford. Ones that have protruding foreheads.
Oh, that's funny. So the bigger the forehead, the more opportunity you give these people.
Well, you've just made
those bald guys. Those bald guys have a big fucking list because
you just made the job a lot easier for lobbyists now.
Yeah,
that's the beauty
I'm thinking
of
of technology.
You can just stay at home and scan your lobbyists.
Factor a forehead into the algorithm. That's fucking genius.
And it's funny we laugh about it, but I guarantee somebody's going, those dudes are onto something.
They're onto something.
Yeah, they're onto something. I mean,
and they could pay their own bills with it if you think about it. Did you see the congressman that got busted propositioning the prostitute? Prostitute on prostitute violence. That's just sad.
Yeah, it's funny because that ties back to a whole new subject matter that we'll get into a little bit later.
Right on.
But I'll tell you what, man. Yeah, you're right. It's crazy. But now, for some fun stuff, free the nipples.
Free the nipples.
Oh yeah, I gotta do it.
So when we first started talking about this, I did my YouTube research, and there's actually a channel called Free the Nipple, which is very interesting. If you want to go look at it,
Is that the one?
It's women trying on lingerie. It's housewives trying on lingerie.
Is this one you said that it's one of the many channels that you look at?
Oh, I look at it all the time. Hell yeah, I get into work. Right after I do my gun page stuff, I'll hop on Free the Nipple, and it's pretty good surf. There's generally about 4 or 5 new ones, and it's these housewives, and I guess they're bored, lonely, whatever it is they're doing, but they're going to display all their lingerie and tell you where they got it from.
Well,
this thing up.
This movement here is kind of a spin-off to that. They're actually trying to get legislation,
Right.
saying that because it all started with breastfeeding.
Yeah.
That's kind of where this shit all started to roll up. And then what happened is they decided, you know what, breastfeeding's, we can fix that if we just get the whole bare breast thing.
Right. And that's the idea, to take their shirt off, which I'm kind of all for. I'm not going to fight them on this deal. But the bad thing it'll be is it'll be a bunch of
It's the ones you don't,
lesbians.
It's the ones you don't want.
Comfortable.
Yeah.
It'll be comfortable shoes and spiky hair with rimmed glasses, and it's a bunch of shit I don't want to see.
Suis Nipple. Suis Nipple.
Yeah.
In this one, I'm with who's the comedian that always drinks the whiskey on stage?
White.
Yeah, once you see one,
You want to see the rest of them.
Yeah. So I'm the same way.
You see some big old grandma lady. She's like, "You want to see my breasts?"
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
One
dude.
time.
Can you hold up? I need to refill.
Right.
No, it's funny. You can look without being. I mean, honestly, if you're going to show it, I'm not going to make a big scene of it. Am I going to look? Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But here's what's going to happen. They'll say they get this passed.
Yeah.
Okay. I guarantee it'll then be, oh, I don't want you looking at me. Don't look at me.
It'll turn into a harassment.
We're going to
thing.
have this whole thing now to where it's selective viewing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Nope. Eyes down.
Lawyers are going to ruin it for us.
Oh, they will.
There'll be a lawsuit made.
Well, the activist, then the lawyer, and then
Right.
the lawmaker. Yeah,
Right.
you're right.
Nipples for me, but not for thee.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See, we've already got this thing thought through.
Yeah.
Just call us and we'll get this
There you
all set up for
Well,
you.
maybe we can help John Kerry's stepson because he's got himself in some trouble apparently, and he's trying to distance himself from Hunter Biden,
Yeah.
which is the president hopeful, forgetful groper son.
That guy's sure train wrecked it here lately.
Man, he's
Such a
gotten tied up
disaster.
in Chinese tech.
Yeah.
He got tied up with Harry Reid with that solar shit that got the Bundys all put in jail.
Yeah.
And now he's trying to distance himself from this whole Ukrainian oil deal
Yep.
that's gone kind of janky over there. It's funny because, I'm waiting for a GoFundMe page.
Right.
I'm waiting for a GoFundMe page that's going to help this rich kid get out of this lawsuit because it's gonna get ugly before this election.
Well, the bad thing is his dad's forgetting who his friends are. As days tick by, the dad's like, I don't know who to call. I'm kind of lost here. Crazy Joe.
Dude, he's forgetting everything.
That guy's in bad shape, man.
He's losing a lot of shit right there.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes me wonder with all the stuff that his son is involved in, that his son isn't his meal ticket because
it is. He's pimping. He's running blockage for the kid.
Oh, all day. They've been talking that trash since
Right.
2 or 3 years since he was vice president.
we're just looking for the right street corner to pimp that one.
Exactly.
Well, what's going to be fun to watch is Trump run with this shit during the debates.
Right.
Oh,
no, he's
man.
going to hammer it.
It's going to be brutal because they've already run Trump through 3 or 4 sieves already.
Yeah.
They've completely run out of. They shot their wad too early, I think.
They really did. Well,
because
that's what they do all the time.
Yeah.
Those guys they're too anxious. You know what I mean? They're definitely the guys you don't want in a gunfight with you because they're going to shoot all their ammunition before everybody's at range. But
it's funny, yeah.
But no, if you look at it, and it's kind of the battle of the sons this week. You were talking about Joe Biden, then you have Trump's son coming out today saying he's going to sue MSNBC.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did.
With a false statement.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I thought that was great.
And they've lost more than they've won on those the news stations have lost more than they've won. You just don't hear about it.
Well, you got that kid. You got the kid with the MAGA hat in D.C.
Oh, yeah.
He's suing them for all. He's hitting every one of them. He's just working his way down the line.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch that just fall apart.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
just a shit show of epic proportions. But talking about a shit show of epic proportions, let's talk a little bit about our AOC, man.
Yeah, we hadn't talked about her in a week.
Talk about free the nipple. Talk about free the nipples. That's where you want to go with this thing.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she isn't fronting that.
Yeah. So she started out with the Electoral College is defunct and should be. I think she said it was basically white privilege for rural America is what she affirmative action for rural America. That's how she got started with this.
Right.
And then now she's moved forward to the new Green Deal has got to be funded or we're all going to die.
Yeah.
That's the part I like. What is it? $93 trillion or something?
$93 trillion bucks.
Bite the bullet.
Bite the bullet.
Yeah.
I got something you can buy, honey.
Yeah, when you posted something about that yesterday.
Yeah.
I went trying to go down the road of trying to find where somebody had created a graphic of her spinning on a pole.
Yeah.
'Cause I would really like to see that, but I couldn't find it anywhere, and I didn't have the skills to do it myself.
I guarantee Epstein's got video of that shit somewhere.
Grinding for dollars to save the penguins.
You know, honestly, AOC, that would be your GoFundMe vehicle right there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. You know, I mean, seriously, get a van with a pole in it with plexiglass on both sides and just hit the road. You love bus riding anyway, so you might as well just do that shit.
Yeah, because
exactly.
I captured that video before it freaking disappeared.
Yeah.
With her traveling the countryside. Singing.
Her thoughts as she goes through past New Mexico or wherever it was.
Now, have y'all seen the one where she's running in front of the fish tank? Or the aquarium?
No.
Oh yeah, I made a freaking meme about that.
So you got to tell us what's going on.
What's the deal?
So she was at some aquarium. I don't know where it was at, and it was I guess it was a penguin that was swimming around, and so
goes so many places.
Oh, I know, but it was so it was kind of a rounded cage, and what she was doing is she would run from one end to the other, and this penguin would basically follow wherever she went.
And she was just kind of like, wee!
Yeah. But she would get in front of the glass just like that and go, you know, like they can see me through the microphone when I'm doing. So, so it was the
Sam's animated for us.
Shit.
Yeah.
So she would run one end and just do this face.
Yeah.
So I created this thing that I posted. It was like that one day when fucking Congress spent money on a petting zoo for junior legislators.
Oh, that's brutal.
That's perfect.
I like it.
You know, I think she's one and done though. I don't think she. Makes a second
they've
term.
already.
I really don't.
What?
She'll be on The View, and
I don't know though. So she's like that dumpster fire you start while you go rob the bank.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
You know, I mean that's really what she is.
Total
The
distraction.
thing with
Absolutely.
her,
But I mean, the right has done a great job of painting her as the figurehead. And, this is what they all think. Look how crazy they are, and
They've definitely pointed to her and said, "Go long. We need you to go long.
So
run down the field for us.
She's
Would you
go long guy.
the thing about her is even if she gets removed from office or whatever, because she was so, I would think in some ways she helped the party.
Oh, she'll be committed. She'll be appointed.
That she'll be put in a position where where the public doesn't have a say.
Well, you remember Van Johnson?
point,
Remember all the shit that Van Jones Van Jones, rolled up with?
What's that? Donna
Brazil?
Donna Brazil.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what though. Now she became a grab for the conservatives because she had all the dirt from the
Fox
DNC.
picked her up, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that
they
the one
did.
Fox picked up.
Yeah, because she has all the dirt. That's why that lady's still walking here. She's smart.
Yeah,
She knew where to bury that stuff.
Yeah, her vault's somewhere that they can't get.
I mean,
to
she
it.
wrote a book that was pretty exposing. Can you imagine what she didn't put in that book?
Right.
Because you save that shit for the rainy day.
It really kind of throws a monkey wrench in the whole Epstein theory. You know
Oh,
what
yeah,
I mean?
it does.
That she still has verticality.
Oh, for sure.
Says a lot for the anti-Epstein crowd that Clinton actually had him whacked.
Well, she was close enough to them that she understands her risk of being suicided is very great.
Exactly. So either she's really good at what she does, or it really is conspiracy.
Well, I don't know. It's fun to watch these people. I mean, it's we really shouldn't have to endure that bullshit because that's not how the country should be run.
No.
But you will have to say though, it makes great TV.
It does.
makes
I was entertained.
These people are just, I mean, they just come up with the most crazy shit. I mean, the whole AOC videos of her sitting on the floor. I mean, you ever seen that thing where David Hasselhoff was shit-faced drunk.
Yeah, he's eating a cheeseburger.
Eating a cheeseburger on the floor.
Well,
that's kind of what she reminds me of when she does these videos.
I think about it in these terms.
That's why Germans love
God
David
they
Hasselhoff.
Thank God they do this shit, because we'd have to work much harder to find material to talk about.
Dude,
I know.
You can't swing a dead cat on the internet and not hit some stupid story that she was in.
Well, we want to send a collective thank you to all you guys out there for that, because keep doing that shit, because we don't have anything to talk about if it's not. It's sharing recipes and talking about other shit.
Well, we would, but most of it will come from like Reddit or Quora.
Yeah. Quora, let's not go down that road. That's got a slant that can be an interesting. So, I don't know. Moving on to something that's probably a bigger problem is one of the things we were talking about earlier was the Antifa.
Yeah, these
Antifa guys in Oregon. I can't wait till they do the road show. I want to see these chicken shit losers get on a bus.
Yeah.
And just, you ever seen the movie?
Area 51, I guess.
Yeah, well, you ever seen the movie Slapshot?
Yeah.
Where they all get on the buses and they're going to town to play hockey and they get in a fight with all the crowds.
Right.
I'm waiting for that to happen with these idiots, because I'll tell you,
they just ain't hit the right town yet.
They haven't, or the right state.
Yeah, Cut and Shoot. Cut and Shoot's looking for you guys.
Oh man.
They'll have their doors open and
Willis,
open arms waiting for you.
Willis, Cut and Shoot, New Waverly. Oh my God.
Find a town with a little bit more enthusiasm.
Exactly. Enthusiasms. It makes me think of that prick right in the back of the head with a bat. But no, they went off here a few weeks ago and beat up an elderly guy.
A couple of them.
Yeah. Laid him out cold and had his wife standing over the top of him. He was on a bus. They were dragging people off a bus.
Yeah. A lot of the claims of
Proud Boys.
Of no violence. There was no violence. It was a largely non-violent protest. You see all these videos of them beating the crap out of people.
13 arrests.
You're like, non-violent. Get out of here, man.
Well, the milkshake thing's a farce. I mean, we saw what was coming there. They're freezing. Sure. They're basically making bricks and throwing bricks at you now.
Yeah, I think Crowder was saying they were putting cement and stuff in there.
Cement's
crazy.
A big one for
well,
him.
Speaking of Crowder, so he's done this before where posters will make threats to him, like on Twitter and about his videos. So now he does his homework and figures out where these people are at and pays them a visit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he
just saw that video.
Yeah,
that's a great
freaking
one.
hilarious. What was it? He was the heat miser or whatever.
Yeah, heat miser, because this guy wanted to set Crowder on fire.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he tracked this guy down and flew to his town and then followed him around.
Dude, that's some balls.
Like
that's journalism with balls, as far as I'm concerned.
And the guy just kept talking shit the entire time. It was crazy. He was like, well, I didn't actually say that then, but now that you're here, I hope you do get lit on fire. Yeah, it's like, you gotta be kidding me, man.
But they all pull the Shaggy defense.
Wasn't me.
Yeah. Until later on, when you have no ground to run to.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, I really wish you would.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah.
Well, of all the guys that go out there and do this, he does it the best.
Yeah.
He's a Canadian. I mean, he's not. He's like a passive, gentle Canadian, he could have been a Mountie. It's just
he's fucking huge. But they give him a hard time because now they try to portray him as the bully, and I'm like, you do realize why this dude is here, right?
Yeah.
He got threatened, wanted to do a follow-up to see if, hey, I know what you can say on the keyboard, but will you say it in person?
Yeah.
Though we just confirmed that he won't.
That's funny. Well, guys like Crowder and people like him that are out there kind of moves us to our next story, which is going to be a discussion about Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I was on Netflix the other night and was bored and had run out of stuff to watch. I forgot what series I'd quit watching. But I flipped over and I turned Netflix on, and there's Dave Chappelle, big giant Dave Chappelle advertisement for his latest
Sticks and Stones.
Sticks and Stones. Yeah. And if you get a chance, if you're listening to this, if you want to laugh your ass off, it is the funny, most unpolitically correct thing you'll watch, and it's hysterical.
So he hasn't changed.
No, he touches all the points, and it's new material, so that's what makes it.
It means I can still like him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Well, it's funny is he warns you throughout the whole show.
He starts it off warning you. Yeah, this is gonna be bad. Put your seatbelts on, motherfuckers. Yeah, here it comes.
Yeah, but he talks about it. I didn't think he was disrespectful in any way.
Dude, I mean, it was all tongue in cheek. Yeah. Every bit of it was funny. He touches all races, all sexual orientations.
The whole ludicrousness of political correctness in itself, and I think so Twitter is like blowing up right now.
Right.
Yep.
And the LGBT
Mostly the T's.
WXYZ groups are all over him.
Yeah, they're all motherfucking him.
Oh, it's incredible. So some of the comments that were made was that look, what he's saying is getting people killed.
Yeah, dangerous.
Killed.
It's not just free speech. It's dangerous to the point
yeah.
that people are dying. Which showed me one case.
You better arrest that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so the cops they said the cops are looking into it.
Right.
There's a story that went out today that the police are actually investigating Chappelle's show.
Where is it?
Heart attack.
Which cops is it? Is it the San Francisco cops that can't pick the shit up off the street?
So where did he do the show? Because that's the only jurisdiction that's...
It was done in Atlanta. It was done in Atlanta.
So then that would be where they would do it.
I would think, yeah.
Yeah, because that's the only place they could do it, because the crime is committed there.
Maybe they can get Kim Fox to be the special prosecutor.
Yeah.
She can,
throw that right out.
She can cut him a deal. No big deal.
That's funny because he actually, when part of his show, he brings up Juicy Smollett, as he calls him. He's like, there's this French actor running around called Juicy Smollett.
The way he told it to was hilarious.
Oh, it's hysterical.
Because he was talking about the two Nigerian guys that were MAGA supporters.
He was doing it from the cop's perspective.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, so let me get this straight. This is Chappelle doing this voice. He's like, so you went to Subway 2:00 in the morning to get a sandwich, and some guys with MAGA hats showed up and
with ropes, carrying ropes.
Yeah. He's like, when have you ever seen anybody with rope in Chicago?
Yeah.
It was pretty good. Yeah, but for the longest time, he kept saying Juicy Smollett.
Yeah, and it took me, the first time he said it, I didn't know who he was talking about.
And nobody knew where he's going.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was really funny.
He was very clever with the way he slid that in there, man.
Well, the one that got me was he was talking about transgender athletes.
Right.
And he said, well, so what if
LeBron
James decided to be a transgender athlete? Would the NBA kick him out?
And when do you go join the WNBA and score 800 points?
Score 800 points a game, which is
that's actually funny. That's
dude. When he said it, the whole crowd rolls, man. It's hysterical.
And he calls them the alphabet people. Yeah,
the alphabet
because they took half the alphabet.
Yeah, he goes. You know. He says the alphabet people, you know the ones who took 20% of the alphabet for themselves.
That is freaking hilarious.
He goes on to say, I feel bad for the T's. He didn't call them transgender.
No, he calls them T's.
I feel bad for the T's because they're so confusing. In fact, if a person could be born in the wrong body, they have to admit that's fucking hilarious predicament to be in.
Yeah, God's got a sense of humor.
Yeah, God's got a sense of humor, and so they blew him up. I mean, that's
the statement that got him.
That's the one that really got him run up. And so there's this one lady, or a person. There's a T going.
Schmam. It's a schmam. Yeah.
And she goes, straight people have no right to speak on LGBT issues, and y'all damn sure have no right to tell trans women that they shouldn't be offended by Chappelle's constant transphobia. Okay.
I'll tell you whatever
y'all
I want.
Do a lot of overstepping. Y'all do a lot of overstepping to defend bigotry at the expense of the marginalized people.
Would you call it habitual line stepping?
Yeah,
he's a line stepper,
which leads to line dancing.
That's
which is a big transgender event.
It's
right?
just like a lot of bloviating.
Exactly.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, but you know, this is kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the guy, he's done everything but say, if this shit bothers you, don't watch my show.
Right.
I'm not making fun of these people. I'm talking about issues that are out there right now. And so the guy, I will tell you, I don't care what anybody says. They're protected by the First Amendment. That's just the way it is. But when you take up and you start picking out what this guy can say versus what that guy can say and can't say, that's where I have a problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
When a guy says, I will give you your fucking $60 back.
Yeah.
So you won't be offended.
Yeah, and he did. Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He will give it back to you, but the moment you don't move and then all of a sudden you get all butthurt because of some shit he said, fuck you, dude.
Dude, he picked on everybody.
He did. He hit. That's what I told you. He hit every talking
point. White guys, Asians.
I was laughing my ass off. I'm white. It's hilarious.
And the people who are complaining and probably want their money back are the ones that actually need to hear the fucking message.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's always
toughen up, cupcake. Goddamn.
That's always the case. Yeah. And do you go to a known comedian's show?
Yeah.
To feel good and not offended? Hell no.
I'd guarantee you that 99% of the people that are out there complaining on the internet didn't even watch it.
Oh,
they didn't even watch it.
They did.
Yes. Exactly.
So Twitter, that's the danger of social media.
Right.
So if my favorite friend Twitters this or tweets this, then he must be right. So I'm going to like it and retweet it.
Pick the football up and run.
And I'm going to retweet it. And it turns into like a virus. You talk about, I guess, that's
that
where viral
is
comes
Twitter.
from.
That is that and Tumblr.
That right there is why I don't do any of that Twittergram or InstaChat or any of the things kids are into these days. You know?
I watch it all. I actually troll a lot of it, but I don't participate very often. I love to read that shit because, I follow guys like James Woods.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The way they portray him on TV, you should see him on a keyboard. The guy is like crazy funny.
Now I want the James Woods that shows up in
Entourage.
On Entourage. That's the
great.
James Woods I want to see.
Yeah, I'm watching that again. By the way, I'm back through the third season when they took his tickets to the to the Emmys or
Johnny
the Oscars.
Drama.
That shit was funny, man. That guy, him and Adam Baldwin and all those guys that get on there. Which I was shocked to see so many conservative actors.
Yeah, well, they got it. That's
they're
what
on
you're going to do.
Yeah. Kevin Sorbo, all those guys are
but you notice they all run together too. Yeah. It's all they're their own clique.
Well, you almost have to protect yourself from that herd because that's that's the sad thing because we were talking about Antifa earlier, how people will support violence for those causes. That's what really bugs me because it's getting worse and worse every day.
Yeah.
Chappelle. You think about a guy like Dave Chappelle. He's the new focus for hate.
Yep.
He's the new hate poster boy. He was talking about Kevin Hart in that stand up, which I thought was cleverly hilarious how he did that.
Yeah, it was well put together.
It was.
He thought it through before he made the jokes.
And so when Hart just said, screw it, I don't want to do your show.
Yeah.
I'm out. And Kevin Hart still sells out.
Yeah.
That's the power of choice. Right. That's the power we have. And so what ends up happening is people are heavily influenced by what they listen to and what they look at. In the sense of I'm not going to like that because I don't want my friends to think I like this guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where Facebook. That's the difference between Twitter and Facebook. Because on Facebook you may have 500 friends, and when your shit shows up, you all of a sudden find out really quick who's falling off the Christmas list.
Right.
But on Twitter it's not quite like that.
True.
And Instagram, not quite. But it's just funny to watch Chappelle roll through this because he just, I don't know, man. Look at what he took when he quit the show.
Yeah.
And disappeared for a while.
$55 million.
Yeah, and he doesn't give it. He doesn't give a shit.
He's made his money.
He's going to
really
go be happy.
Exactly.
He wants to be happy and do what he wants to do. So I'm all for what he does. If you don't like him, don't watch him. But you can't say that he doesn't speak the truth because he really does. He talks about. The great thing about his comedic genius is he talks about the shit that needs to be talked about,
right?
In a way that I don't find it offensive.
Yeah,
even when he hits me as the focus group, I enjoy the hell out of it.
Well, if you can't laugh at yourself, then you're way too serious.
Isn't that the moral of the story?
It is.
And the all those guys that have problems with him should go back and watch like Raw. Or any of those from back in the day.
Delirious and Raw.
You want to talk about the most offensive shit you've ever heard. Go back and listen to Eddie Murphy's original stand-up when he was 21, 22.
Right.
The dude was a savage.
Right.
Yeah.
And he made fun of every ethnicity, every gender, gays. He
scorched earth with him.
He did everything. And now he's like... the comedic savior or whatever. He's like this safe space for everybody because he did all the movies.
Well, Disney
but
embraced
he used to be a savage.
Yeah.
And him and Seinfeld did a great. Seinfeld's got the comedians in cars and coffee thing, and they both sat down and they were talking about what
I did see that.
What constitutes over the line, know? And he said, well, it's got to be funny. If it's really offensive, it's got to be really funny. And this is Seinfeld, and Seinfeld is a pretty safe space comedian, I think. But the difference there, of these guys who are the best comedians in the world, but nobody thinks that they're offensive. You go back and watch their material, and then they asked him too what they asked privately or publicly. Where's the line? He said privately, there's no line.
Yeah,
there is no joke that is too offensive that will not be told between comedians. So if you think that they're not making the LGBT jokes, if they're not making homophobic jokes, they're not making racist jokes, they are. They are. Just like anybody else does in private, where nobody can judge you for what you're saying. And if it's a funny joke, people laugh. If it's not a funny joke, it's not a funny joke. It doesn't work. But the difference there of the judging Chappelle versus these other guys, I don't get it.
Well, you know, you go back to guys like Murphy that were brought up under Gene Tracy and Richard Pryor.
Oh yeah, well Pryor.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you go, I mean, you know, and if you think about even guys like Rodney Dangerfield, when you go further back into the clubs, I mean, those were dark, smoky booze joints.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
To where, you know, now the venue, this is the corporatization of comedy, basically. Where the venue now, and this is where we get in trouble with everything, it becomes corporatized, and advertisers' dollars, because, you know, Chappelle was talking in his special about how the Netflix executives were like, no, you know, you can't say, target, you know?
Yeah.
And so...
But the interesting part, this was the most interesting part of that conversation, is she told him he couldn't say that because he wasn't one, but he could drop the N-bomb.
Yes.
And he looked at her and he said, but I'm not one.
Right.
So you would think that they would take away something.
She just called him one.
Exactly.
Parentheses,
the whole point.
you fucking racist.
Exactly.
Yeah. And which I think is really funny because, you know, you watch guys like Rodney Dangerfield back in the day.
Right.
And you watch his live, go back and watch some of the old shows, and then go watch him on the Carson show. Okay, I mean, you do see two acts. To your point, Nate, it's you do see the private conversations versus the live. Remember, what's his name, Michael Richards?
Yeah,
had that huge meltdown,
right?
And
he blew up at some Jewish folks, if I'm not mistaken,
well,
wasn't it? Or that's right. He dropped the N-bomb. That's what it was.
The N-bomb.
I couldn't remember what he. I knew it was a racial epithet.
It's one of those things you get tired of hearing. I can say it because I am one. That's not really right.
Yeah, no.
Because you know you can use that word in an endearing way. It's like the word fuck.
Right.
You know, you can use the word fuck 150 different ways. So the N-word's the same way. What ends up happening is that, and we talked about this the other day, where people, they don't listen to understand and have a conversation. They listen solely to react.
Right.
And that's the kind of people we have nowadays. And it's being fed by political candidates running for office of president right now.
Right. It's all amped up.
You got them all in there looking for the, you know, because they don't have substance. Because, you know, we elect politicians to enact the Constitution and the laws of the land, not to change the demographics of the country. And you see every one of them that they look to change the demographic because they don't like what this country did stand for, to where they want to change it to what they can manipulate.
That's exactly
And
right.
so when you get a guy like Chappelle up there, he kind of shows how ludicrous that model is.
Right.
That's the genius behind how he speaks. Because I watched an interview when he was talking about coming back from his hiatus. You know, and he went, I smoked a lot of dope, and I got my reality back in check again. And you know, so when you listen to guys like him, just lighten the fuck up.
Yeah.
Okay? You gotta laugh at this stuff, because if you don't start laughing, you might be like Antifa and you might be picking up frozen milkshakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, to hit on what Nate and you said earlier was this: if you want to watch a real series that addresses how corporate America has stepped into the comedy world, watch the show on Netflix. I think it's Netflix or Amazon Prime, Crashing.
Yeah.
It kind of chronicles this guy who's trying to become an up and coming stand-up comedian, and it watches like the trials and tribulations and hitting in these different areas. And there's this one episode where he ends up going to some road show somewhere, and he runs into some of the coldest people that are running a club, and none of them have anything to do with comedy. They're role playing. You know, like, I'm security, I'm the manager, and you need to make sure that you mention these daily specials before you start your show. and that's the crazy
formulaic.
thing.
It's so formulaic.
And like what Nathan was talking about with Chappelle and Seinfeld being together, this is why a lot of stand-up comedians don't want to do shows anymore. Once they've made that fucking dollar, they don't want to fucking.
Why would you?
Well, it's harder. It's definitely harder. The material, when nothing is funny anymore,
right?
When somebody chooses to exploit the humor in this world, that's when you just need to step off the planet.
I'll just phone my laugh track in at that point.